Hi, everybody. It's Miss Hartridge here. We talked yesterday about place value. So I showed you guys a couple different ways that we could examine numbers, right? So we looked at how we could take a number and read it or write it in standard form. That's composed. That's what we call that. When that number's all put together, it's composed. But we also talked about two other ways that we could take a number and break it apart or decompose it into, I'll show you right here, base 10 or word form. So remember, we looked at standard form yesterday when the digits are all just representing the number that we're talking about. And we talked about base 10 when we use our thousands, cubes, our tens, squares, our hundreds, squares, our tens, sticks, and our ones, little small squares or circles. And then we talked about word form. So word form is when we take that standard form and just say it and type it all out. Well, today I want to add on something different. Today we're going to take a look at big numbers again. We're going to take a look at their place value. So again, remember we learned that it goes ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s when we're building a number. And then we read that number left to right. So we would read a number like this as 218,309. Do you guys remember for a big number like this or any number at all, there's no digit called and. Remember, there's no digit in here that says and. So we don't put that word and in this number at all when we're reading it. We don't put the number and in any number when we're reading it correctly. Okay, you guys? All right. We also talked about how this piece right here to the left of the comma is the thousands period. These digits all live in the thousands period. And we had talked about how these digits to the right of the comma live in the ones period right here. Okay, well, we're still going to practice today recognizing numbers that are in standard form, just like this. This is standard form. In word form, that's when we write out all the words. In base 10 blocks, but we're going to add another one on there. We're going to take a look at how we can decompose a number like that one, like the other one I was just showing you. We can break this down into each value for each digit. So we can take a look at this digit. You guys know that this is just a plain old little 3 right here. That number is a plain old 3, and by itself, it's worth 3 ones. But depending on where it lives, it has a different value, right? So on this chart right here, it lives in the hundreds place. So it's worth 3 hundreds, right? Well, each digit has a value like that. So we're going to take a look at how we can break apart these digits right here and turn this whole thing into a math problem. It's kind of fun. We're just going to play with these numbers right now. We could take this apart starting at the left, just like how we would read it, and we would call this number not just 2 because of where it lives. We call it 200,000. That's what it is worth. That's its value. Plus, not just 1, 10,000 because of where it lives. That's what it's worth. Plus 8,000 plus 300 plus 9 because there are no 10s, right, you guys? So we didn't have to write anything in between there. So that's called expanded form, you guys. Expanded form, again, is when we decompose a number or break it apart into each digit's value. All right, let's take a look at another one. Here's the number. You guys can see it at the bottom of my screen here. 400. Remember, think about how you would read it by covering up the part that you don't need to say. 497, then the comma means 1,823. I've got to put that comma in there. I think I forgot it. decimal would go right there to separate those two periods. There it is. 497,000. That's what this comma right here means. 823. All right, you guys. Well, how we would take that number and break it apart into expanded form is we would break apart left to right, just like we do when we read a word. So we would start right here with a 4. Again, this digit isn't just worth 4. Sometimes I like to think of it as money because it's fun for me to do it that way. It's not worth $4 if it lives right here. It's worth 400,000. So this is 400,000 plus 90. Do you guys see the 90 right there before the 1,000? So it's 90,000 plus 7,000 plus 800 plus 20 plus 3. It's just a fun way of breaking apart or decomposing this number into expanded form. Well, you guys are going to get a chance to practice again, recognizing those 4 different forms. Standard form, when we just write the number out like regular. Think about where it lives. Word form, that's when we write it with letters instead of digits, using letters like this. Or base 10, when we draw it out. Or expanded form, what we just talked about today. You maybe did expanded form last year with smaller numbers when you were in 2nd grade. So maybe you guys just did 800. I'll cover this part up here. Whoops. 800 plus 20 plus 3 for 823. We're going to play with it and make it a little more challenging and fun by taking those numbers and breaking them apart all the way out to the 100,000s place. All right, you guys, I hope you have fun playing with the numbers in the practice activity. Let me know how it goes.